I've been collecting action figures since I was a freshman, 14 years old. Um, I would say itself that as a whole, it's not only a hobby, but it's a passion of mine. Toy collecting itself, beyond my childhood, started with the first Transformers movie from 2007. Since then, I was fascinated in the brand itself, that this one robot is able to turn into vehicles and planes, and just that fascinated me. So that summer, I actually made it my goal to start off with my Transformer collection.
Jared's been coming in here way too long. Way too long. Way too long.
The Falcon from '79, gotta say, holy grail of my collection. Wouldn't sell this for anything.
I mean, it is nice to just look around your room and be like, yes, look what I have. Look at that.
And of course, chasing the Falcon would be Darth Vader from Empire in Box.
No, he's been coming in here, oh my God, let's see, we opened up here 9 years ago, so probably around then. Yeah, so you've been coming in way too long. You need a life.
The chase is great. Amazon, eBay, going to different stores. It's just fun.
I'm 33. I've been obsessed with toy collecting pretty much my whole life.
Don't ask my age.
What toy collecting means to me is just kind of, you know, having some of your favorite movies on display, obviously Star Wars and things like that. And, you know, every little variation of cool scenes done in a different way.
Toy collecting itself kind of starts for me, the whole theory of collecting, actually from childhood. I'm going to say since like the 90s itself. I've always been into collecting, from Jurassic Park figures.
Originally collecting was, when I first started in the 80s, collecting personally, it was actually just, I mean, going to toy shows, a lot of traveling. Then as it turned into a business, meeting people who were like me, collecting certain things, whether they collected what I collected or what I didn't collect, just meeting some people. And eventually, as I got older, with 3 kids in college, revenue.
This is an intergalactic emergency.
For a lot of people that we deal with, it's really a recreation of their childhood. Because you know, you walk through the room here, most of the people, it's a lot of the toys from the 70s, 80s, 90s, based on, you know, how old you are.
Basically, once I got a job, kind of corresponded with the rise of eBay, and yeah, just started grabbing stuff from my childhood.
To me, the best part of doing cons like this is I can step out of my reality. I'm a mom of 4, so it's my chance to be able to come out and just have fun and enjoy myself.
There's nothing that actually sticks out in my mind. I mean, there's always that white whale toy that everybody's, you know, sort of looking for. From my end, you know, as a retailer, because, you know, we have a website and an actual store, it's more or less finding that piece for somebody that they've been searching everywhere for, and, you know, just kind of doing something nice for somebody.
I'm co-owner of Farpoint. My wife and I own it. I'm lucky enough to have a significant other who is a collector as well. So she collects collections, like she collects everything. So
toy collecting for me is able to get paid to do the thing I love. I grew up with the toys. I'm very passionate about them.
I think that the passion, you know, the last couple of years has kind of slowed down a little bit. I know when the first episode 1 Star Wars came out, I went crazy.
I don't even care. Just give me a toy.
The action figure aisle filled up quicker than Mud Wrestling Night at Jabba's Palace.
I bought every little toy, and I have a feeling, you know, the next movie that comes out in December, I'll be going crazy, buying every little M&M thing and Coke package and every little cool, you know, object I can find. So my room will probably get doubled with the amount of Star Wars toys that will be coming out.
Toy collecting is a passion that kind of re-embraced my nerdiness. You know, I shied away from it through my teenage years when I figured, you know, when I discovered girls. But after I got a little bit older, I discovered that, you know what, I really loved the nerdy kid I was, and I loved the toys I grew up with. So it's a passion. It's an absolute passion and an addiction. It can get bad.
So, what makes a collector? Well, I've got to say, whenever you have a passion for something and whenever you have this ambition to just, it's something that you like, something that's nostalgic that you grew up with, and it just holds you right here and it ties into you. And I have to say that one thing that's pushed me this far when it comes to toy collecting itself is that not only do I love the hobby and the brand itself, but it also holds an emotional attachment to me. Like, one thing is that the heroes that I look up to itself, I mean, it pretty much started when I was 9 with Spider-Man. I mean, during that age, my parents actually had a divorce. So I looked up to these figures like Spider-Man and like Luke Skywalker's story with Star Wars and Optimus Prime, how he's this noble, heroic figure. And I've taken these like characters itself and applied it to life. And just to me personally, like, they hold a certain attachment here. So to be able to collect the brand and live those adventures, I guess, has strung out throughout not only my childhood but life today.
So, you know, for the parents that, you know, threw all their, you know, their kids' stuff away, guys get to come back in and, you know, try to re-piece everything they had when they were a kid.
Well, as a child, I wasn't really collecting. You just get them for Christmas. It's you know, when you used to get the Sears book and go through it and let it circle almost everything.
Even as a collector myself, I didn't have like an enormous collection of a lot of these guys. I actually got into it, you know, I have little kids and they started getting into some of the things that I used to play with as a kid. And, you know, and then it kind of just grew from there, where, you know, where they had, and then, you know, we actually ended up just opening a store based on that.
It's a business. Even though a lot of people look at it and go, why don't you get a real job? It's mainly revenue now at this stage of my life.
Besides revenue, because we're in business to make money, you know, again, it goes back to what I said before. It's, you know, whether they're folks that are my age or they're little kids, it's kind of making somebody's day through toys.
And then I find the stuff, I buy it, and I resell it. It's a good way to make money. I probably make as much doing this 6 weekends a year as I do with my other job. This one's tax-free though, which is nice.
We're in a mall, so we're right there in the heat of retail. You know, every space in the store we have to sell because mall rent is serious. But this whole, you know, collecting for the two of us turned into a business, and we opened a store in the mall, which you know, we support ourselves doing it now. You know, instead of being irresponsible, now we're being responsible and paying our bills doing this.
I stopped toy collecting because I just got into high school when I got into film more than I got into just collecting toys, and I just watched a lot of movies, and I needed money. So I actually sold my Star Wars Lego collection for about $1,500, and that was a nice down payment on a car. So that really helped me out.
I think my biggest childhood memory is I remember working all day with my parents, cleaning the pool, you know, raking leaves just to buy Transformers toys. I bought a set of the cars that build into the bigger guy, and I just remember working all day and, you know, busting my butt just to get that toy. I think from then on it's always been a passion to just kind of, you know, buy the sets of the things, and just the result of working all day and getting the toy really made me happy as a kid.
The original G1s. This is Optimus and Megatron. Two enemies. Everybody's familiar with Optimus Prime. Transforms into a truck. This Megatron itself is actually banned in America for being a gun.
I think one reason for why Transformers are my favorite toy line is because I was able to sell 5 of them and make $1,000 and get my first car.
Robots in disguise.
Favorite toy line? All right, way before you guys were born, back in the 60s, the space age, the space race, Mattel did a line called Major Matt Mason, Mattel's Man in Space.
Report from Mattel Astro Space Center. The amazing new Unitread and Space Bubble is on the moon.
You would think of them as little rubber bendies, okay? They were about 6 inches tall, rubber with the wire inside, and that's exactly what it was. He was a spaceman. Had 4 of them, 4 different guys, an alien, a big plastic one that definitely didn't go with the set, but somehow they threw it in. But that was my passion, that one. Because I can remember playing with them when I was a kid in the 60s. And yes, there are actually parts from that collection that still elude me because they've just gotten way too damn expensive.
Stay tuned for further reports as they develop. At your local Mattel Astro Space Center, all systems are go.
My favorite toy line is probably the Star Wars Unleashed figures. They came out about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, and they were just really cool poses of our favorite characters and done in a really interesting way. So I bought pretty much the whole set of those. That I think they're just kind of the neatest figures out there, and they were cheap. So.
My favorite toy line would have to be the Amiibo, because I love Nintendo. It's all the characters from my childhood: Kirby, Donkey Kong, Mario, Peach.
My favorite toy line, I'm gonna say G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe's.
Anything from G.I. Joe. Absolutely, yeah.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
I'll date myself here, from 82 to 90.
3 3/4. I'm only 38, so I wasn't,
okay.
yeah.
A big Transformers is a very close second. I think I had more G.I. Joes than Transformers.
My favorite G.I. Joe was probably the Cobra Bat, little android trooper guy, and I was lucky. I was a spoiled kid, only child, so I got to, I got a little bit of everything.
I think because they're cheaper, I got more of them. They didn't break as much as Transformers did. It's a pretty cool toy line.
I think some of the dangers of collecting toys is, obviously you need a room to fit all of them. I used to live in my parents' basement like any geek does, and I had so much room to put toys in. Since I've moved into a house, kind of limited in the toy space, I chose to buy a backyard instead of a basement, so I don't have much of the room to display as much as I want to.
Well, there's a danger of almost like hoarding. There's been people I know that buy so much that basically that's the way their house is. They look like hoarders.
I have 2 houses full, basement full of this stuff. It's not who I am. It's just my favorite thing to do in my free time.
I guess the other dangers would be just the money involved.
You could spend too much money on it, or it damages relationships with your girlfriends or your significant other.
I mean, there's always dangers in everything, whether it's collecting or gambling or whatever.
If you're, there's a lot of guys here that say this. Well, I can't let my wife know I'm spending this kind of money, because not everybody's lucky enough to have a significant other to understand.
Getting a little, once you buy one new set character, you got to get all of them. So I think that's the other problem with me, is you can't just have one of them, you have to have all of them. So that's the biggest danger.
Or some people are just not responsible with their money. This comes before car insurance, which isn't, not smart.
And again, you could have just too much and just falls on you and kills you.
I've put myself in a hole, buying. When you find a good deal, you feel like it's going to be the last good deal, so you go for it, and it's not money you should be spending. It's the money that's maybe should be going somewhere else. Yeah, it's like you feel like there's a line, and I kind of live by this now, that it's never the last good deal, but you don't feel that way when it's there. You feel that when you see this thing that you need for your collection, that I have to get this now. I'm never going to find it again. So you're kind of irresponsible with the money, and I've definitely done that quite a few times.
The chase. I love going out and finding the toys more than having them.
The search and the find of collecting them and going to different stores and trying to find various toys is, I think, the thrill for me.
Early 90s, New York City. One of my really first big toy conventions I went to. There used to be a newspaper, looked like the Daily News, and it was called, or Toy Shop, sorry. And it was just nothing but articles and ads and this and that before the internet where you could just... Anyway, and we found the show in New York, we went up to it, and I must have been walking around. I used to collect these figures. They originally were 8-inch by a company called Mego. They did 4 die-cast figures. Superman, Hulk, Batman, and Spider-Man. And I needed the Superman in the box to finish the collection. And I was walking around, and about 2 aisles away, sitting on a chair, sat this Superman, just sitting there. I went flying around, my heart's pounding, you know, my pulse racing almost, and I just went up to, I said, how much? She gave me a price, and not even negotiating, which is really not what a Jew does, but not negotiating. I just whipped out the money, and you know, it was one of just that kind of feeling.
When you finally find that one toy you're looking for, you say, yes, yes.
You don't find it that often, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun, those things.
Actually, I like meeting new people and, you know, just being out there and doing something different once in a while. So.
Basically, I get to hang out with other people with the same hobby and be the authority on the toys I love, and just meet people with the same interests. And we can just go back in nostalgia. I can help people find stuff that they lost through their youth. It's a good way to connect with people.
I've been doing it so long. I mean, I opened my first store in '92, so I've seen a lot, if not almost everything I've ever wanted to see come through. Once in a while, yeah, something comes in that I buy or just see that my jaw just drops and go, wow. And so there is always that spark. You never lose it. There's always that spark of passion in collecting.
Shooting this documentary has actually got me back into toy collecting. When I went to Scott's shop, who filmed, I bought a bunch of Pacific Rim figurines, and I just thought they were awesome. I had to have them, and it's been awesome. And now I'm collecting Pacific Rim figures. Already down $125, and I'll expect to be down a lot more.
I don't know if you guys realize this, for collecting, for pop culture, cons, toy shows is huge right now. Everyone's doing it. There's a bubble right now for pop culture and collectors. It's hit the mainstream. You know, it used to be like a secret nerdy little thing that I collect Star Wars figures, but I'm not going to tell my friends about it. And now we get, you know, all walks of life coming in, buying and collecting vintage toys that they grew up with, and no one's shy or embarrassed about it anymore. People are into it, and it's paying the bills. And you know, maybe this wasn't a viable business plan 10 years ago, but it is now. And hopefully, when the bubble bursts, because it will, you know, there's just too many people doing it now. There's too many cons now. It's huge. You can't walk at New York Comic Con now. You know, eventually there's going to be, you know, people are going to get tired of it. It's just the way it is. So hopefully, you're smart enough to last, and that's what we're hoping.
It's kind of interesting because, you know, today with all the technology we have, sometimes you kind of feel that people are getting away from like an analog toy versus everybody's got a smartphone or an iPad in their hand. So, you know, just trying to keep that alive, because it does. There's a level of creativity that comes with that I think that if, you know, future generations, if it's all electronic and they're not actually doing something where you can be creative at the same time, you know, I do feel they're losing something there.
These figures that you can create your own adventures itself, what I used to be able to have as a child is now with me as an adult. I definitely see this hobby and passion lasting on throughout the years. I don't plan on stopping collecting anytime soon until, I guess, the wife is like, you gotta stop or it's gonna jeopardize marriage. But, I mean, beyond that point, I wouldn't give it up for anything at all.